Hey there, everybody. Robert Taylor with Wonderscape Creations, continuing on with our ACF Ultimate series, specifically with the action portion of the series. As a quick reminder, it's been an episode or two. Please make sure we ask that you don't use the full sample or the integrated folders. Well, what you can use what's in there, just duplicate it or make a child of it and move it into your own folders. We wouldn't want you to lose out on any of your work or decide or have to go through a whole bunch of frustrating work to try to save your work while updating the folders whenever we push updates. The same definitely goes for the plugins. That's a huge no-no. So we are now getting into the Status Effect Manager. It's an amazing addition that came with 3.5. It's super powerful. It blows my mind the work that was placed into this component. It was one that I've been asking for quite a long time, and has finally been added into this system. And let me say, you will not be disappointed. So we're going to quickly go over a couple of things. I'm going to show you the examples that Pask has, and then I will help you create a custom action for buffing yourself, and it's going to be quite fun. So, as you can see here with ACF Status Effect Manager, you have the on status started, on status removed, on status retriggered, and on any status changed. These you can use within the player, or you can use within the statuses themselves, which is something we're going to look at a little bit, but not really mess with, as it's something that I need to fully figure out. But I'll be able to verbally walk you through an idea that I have, that if I figure out and works fluidly, will share thoroughly. So the way these work, obviously when you right click, you can find them through Blueprint class, or if you have this cool new plugin, you can come in here to effects. You can get a base status effect, which is the parent of all three of these, or you can get an instant status effect, which is just a child of this. There's no differences between the two that I've noticed, but there might be. Then for duration, so how long does it last, and damage over time. So these are just what you start with. You can always make your own and then add them to this. That'll be a different tutorial series to have that happen. Now I have the three that Pask has provided. So I'm going to go ahead and go over them with you for a little bit. The first one we're going to touch is the strength buff. So nothing special nothing difficult to it. So there's a new tag called status, and this one is called strength buff. It lasts for 15 seconds. There's an icon right here, and those icons show up underneath all of your bars, your health man and all that. And then you just choose how much, what's being increased, whether it's in primary attribute, statistic, or attribute, and then whether it's additive or percentage. That's all there really is to it. The duration, you can set for as long or as short as you want, and can be retriggered. Just means when you cast it again, it recasts it. It does not stack. And that's something that we have to figure out as a community to make it work for those who, like me, are going to have abilities that have status effects that can stack. Like I said, once I get my theory figured out, I'll happily share it. If other people have theories that they want to try out and they figure it out, let me know and I can share it, or you can share it. Either way works. So with that, this is without making any changes to the for duration effect blueprint. Now in Frozen, a lot's been changed, for good reason. So variation, I'm assuming that's the variation of the damage. It's at 0.5. Frozen effect. So there's a special effect that happens to your material. It turns a little blue. Really cool. And then as you can see here, how long the freeze lasts. And here's the icon. Can be retriggered. Not sure what these are for. I haven't played with them. However, when we come into on status effect, on trigger status effect, they've added play replicated action effect for freezing. And then on status effect starts, lots of work. So you get the character, it gets your character for you. So, you're able to get all of this information, store the old values. Oh, that's what that's for. So this stores the old values of your anim rate scale for how fast the animations play. It gets all the locomotions, reduces their... that's what the 0.5 is. So it reduces all of the speeds by 50%. And then plays the effect once it has changed all the locomotion speeds. This effect is FX to play, which is right here. And then the frozen effect, is it valid? Add material overlay for duration. And then play effect attached, which was just part of the ACF effects manager, which is really easy to get from the character owner, getting the components. Fantastic. Then on status effect ends, it's literally reversing a bunch, all of the work that it did to slow things down. That is the complexity that you can put within your status effects. As long as you understand that, you can get the character owner, and from there, you can get component by class so that you can adjust everything you need on the fly. The last one that he has applied here is the this is an actual damage over time one. So a lot of the work's already done. You don't have to do a terrible amount, but base damage. So how much damage total is going to be done? No. That's not total that's going to be done, because I remember taking the damage and this guy doesn't have much health and it almost killed him after 2 ticks. So this base damage is how much damage it's going to do per a tick. How many times will it tick? Trigger count. The duration, so 15 seconds, and it's going to trigger 6 times. So, it's going to do that in intervals. Can be retriggered, so it'll restart the effect, obviously. The status, all that's done here is an add material overlay for duration. So anytime you take the poison damage, you flash green. And I don't think anything else has been added. So what we will quickly go over now are a couple of items that have been made to help you understand. Apply poison on hit, on actor damage, collision component, try apply damage. At what chance, so 1% chance, to apply the poison. So it's now a lot easier to add these damaging effects all over the place. Your spells, your actors, your weapons, everything, the environment. Heck, you could walk through a puddle and get the status effect drenched, and then take lightning damage, and it does more damage. The world is your oyster when it comes to this status effect component. So my idea that I had before going through and helping you to create your own buff action that you can utilize however you wish. For, say you have an ability that applies a poison that can be applied 3 times. That means for now, because each of these have their own ID, it's best to have poison part 1, poison part 2, poison part 3 as far as the status effects. As far as these go, I can still just say poison for the, where is it, for this can still just say status poison, doesn't need a change. something else to point out, damage type class. So poison damage class, you can choose damage class. Anyways, what that would then do is you poison them once with the attack, and then on the next attack, it checks to see if they're already poisoned. If so, it will apply the second one, and it checks again when you do it again. If so, it'll apply the third one. There obviously need to be more checks to make sure that it's the poison coming from this ability instead of a different poison, because you don't want to trigger poison step 2 if it's a different poison. But it has the ability to work. It's just something that I'm going to work on for you guys to get a stackable action going for you guys with the status effects. For now, we're going to create a buff action that can be utilized. I'll come here to use any. Where is it? Yeah, it's this one. Any effect. Now it says buff, but obviously debuffs work when you go into the negatives. So again, world's your oyster. It's literally, you can then come in here, choose how much it costs. It's instant. So you can make it to where it's just for you. You can look at the spells that are available in the blueprints somewhere. There's a frost one, fireball one, and you can see how it finds the target, how it'll do the status effect damage that way. Within here, you could all obviously get the controller, get the component from the controller, and get all your companions so that it'll buff all of your companions with you if you wanted to. You can, once in your controller, you can get the targeting component so that you can get your target to do things that way. Even find your target's companions. That could really screw things over. It'd be really cool. Just a whole bunch of ideas for you. So this one is going to be set up a bit differently because I wanted to show off two things with this base action, this custom action component that we are making called ACF buff action. So if you don't remember how, in the blueprint class, find ACF base action, or you can come to combat actions and type action, we'll click action and then find the ACF base action to create a child of it. The next thing you're going to want to do is get the can execute action. And here's where the owner is. So we're going to get the status effect component right here. Make sure it's valid and continue. We'll go over this additional code in a minute. Then in the event graph, oh, this is no longer needed. Sorry. It was doing the work twice. In the event graph, on notable point reached, I'm just using the drinking a potion one because I didn't have any other animation. It will use the status effect. And if you recall, let's go here. In the use object, there's just a notify right there. So now, when we use it, hit play. First, I'm going to go to the statuses here. We have 75 health. If I hit the number 5, because that's the spell for it, as you can see up there underneath my bars, an icon showed up. It's just the Discord one for this. If we hit I, go to status, 575. Amazing, right? Oh, wanted to show off one other thing. Now, if I hit 5, it's going to keep doing its thing. Whether you have it re-triggerable or not, it's going to continue to do this. And like I said, they don't stack, so it's going to stay at 575. So that's what this additional code is for if you don't want to have it just re-trigger the effect. If you want it to not be able to be used again until the buff is gone, you can come into here, use the status effect construct, that variable that we've made, to get class defaults so that you can get the status tag, so that you can is affected by status tag. If it's true, we don't want it to be true, so we put a not bool in there. Compile, save. You can hit play. Now when I hit 5, I get the buff, but it won't play again, no matter how much I spam it. So that's pretty much it. If we go and look at my health buff that I went ahead and made. Sorry, 1 second. It's my alarm. Make sure I take my breaks. Coming here and say class default, you can see max value is 500, and I set the duration for 3,600 seconds. That's 60 minutes. So I just created myself a super long 1 hour buff. Or you can, like I said, create 1 hour debuffs. You can make them as long as you want. You can make them stack by having different for duration effects, BPs. If you want them to stack a different way, obviously, like I said, we can figure that out together as a team. So, lot to go through. Find all of the spells. You can find them through the ACF player action set within the ultimate sample or the full sample to better understand this amazing addition to combat. Obviously, it's not just magic because there was poison, but I wanted to, make a cool fortitude buff to increase your health. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please make sure you like and subscribe. If you're able to and willing, I would gladly appreciate the purchase of a coffee or of joining my Patreon. Thank you and have a fantastic day.